Hey guys, per usual, everything on this channel is for educational purposes only and is not intended as financial advice. So you need to decide for yourself in your head, am I in buy the dip mode? Am I in continuation mode? Am I in try to short the top mode? Likely the worst mode to be in. Which mode are you in? Are you in the I'm going to DCA in and out here, so I'm going to dollar cost average on the way up? Or I'm just going to hold and think I can pick the top? You got to figure that out for yourself. So let's go through the charts here. I wrote a really great, I'm going to say poignant article on Bitcoin Magazine, basically saying like, yeah, there are targets of 1800, but there's 4 or 5 things that aren't resolved yet that could drastically move price in either direction still. So yeah, we're going to just moon until we don't, but there's some things to watch out for, so check that out. I'll link that up in the description below the video. Okay, back to Pitchfork. Again, I'm in targets mode. I'm in where's the top going to be mode. I'm in should I be selling here mode. I'm in not euphoria, but definitely disbelief. So the Pitchfork has us, we're still in the zone of possibility of increased price here. This is definitely the upper limit. You can see it has not gone past that target and held ever since the beginning of the trend. So I'm a believer in selling some up here on 18 to 2K. I think that's the yearly end target anyways, around 2K based on Pitchfork. But okay, so there's that. That's great. You know, let's say you're out of leverage, you're in just cold wallet, which is my situation. Now the question becomes, what do you do? Well, if you go to the high time frames, I'm going to start with the index. If you go to high time frames, they don't really help you at all. They help you figure out targets, but they will not help you figure out entries, re-entries, that sort of thing at the moment, because things have just been bullish, you know, for weeks on end now. And if you're in cash still, I question your sanity, because where were you this whole time up here for weeks? But different people have different risk profiles, I understand that. And again, the daily, last video I was saying, you know, this looks overbought, still looks overbought. That hasn't changed. We're still forming this TK C-clamp thing. Price is getting farther and farther away from even the fastest EMA on the cloud. But again, this doesn't give you targets. It doesn't give you entry, re-entry. It just says things are going up. Duh. Go to 4 hour. 4 hour gets a little more interesting. Again, what am I looking for on the cloud? I'm looking for TK cross recross. You can see we got the TK cross recross here. This is what you're looking for. Again, it might not happen on the 4 hour, might happen on a lower time frame, but this was a high confidence of increased price action from that point on. And again, you're getting this TKC clamp. It's more stark here. Basically, the market is flat, and if the market continues to be flat, it says sideways and down is more probable than continuation. But knowing the current market conditions, it's just going to keep going until volume is exhausted. I don't even think media hype has started yet. That's the crazy part. Maybe I'm just not paying attention to the media as much, but the 4 hour looks fine for trend. Again, anytime you see this like black hole of non-support, it's always a possibility that we go down that low, just like on weekly. It's always a possibility we go down here because there's no support. But you can't, that's not really actionable or tradable right now. So yeah, bids on the Kijun always, forever, any time frame, whatever you want to do. You know, I have bids here. It always looks crazy, especially in times like this. Always looks crazy. Doesn't always happen. Didn't happen here. It would have burned you here. This is a bad example, but you know, it hit here. It hit here on the way down. Not great examples, I know, but the point is, no matter how crazy this looks, the Kijun is, it's always the 50% of the past 60, 30, whatever it is. Periods. All right, that's 4 hour. It doesn't really help me. It says we're overbought. I already know that. If we look at RSI, there's no div. It's, you know, super high, but whatever. If we go to the 2 hour, 2 hour looks just like 4 hour. Again, the entry looks even better here because we have the Kuma breakout with the TK cross on one candle. So there's your entry. Boom. And you're getting several Kijun bounces. Here's 3 tests here. Here's one here. And again, your Kijun bounce somewhere around 1398. On index. We go to the hourly. It gets even more interesting for re-entries because you had entry, exit, entry, exit, entry. You still haven't had an exit yet. It's a little messy because there's no Kijun bounce per se up here. So not really the best picture. I normally love the hourly for trends, but this is kind of noisy and messy, to be honest. Let's go to the 30-minute. And again, I'm in my mode. I'm in my it's going up mode. So I don't really care about direction, or direction is set. I don't care about targets as much. Okay, so here's something that's actionable that I can look at if I'm out of leverage positions and pay attention to. And again, entry based on cloud signals. Really, your entry is probably somewhere up here based on lagging span. So you're in whatever somewhere in here, you get your Kijun bounce should you have missed out on anything. And really this happens too quick because the TK cross happens and as the down candle happens. Then you have entry, exit, kind of messy, and then you have entry again as we break local high. This is probably my favorite looking entry because it breaks local highs. That's super important, which means the lagging span is automatically bullish. And we get the TK cross. So, this picture could repeat itself here. We just go sideways for a while, we get the cross recross, then we get another cross recross, then we break local highs. Some people like to wait for the local high to break to re-enter on the leverage positions. So currently we got the close signal for the longs, and we're doing this insane buying run again. There's no div because it's not a high or high, but this could be head and shoulders, it could be a triangle, it could be a lot of things. Should this recross cleanly with volume, that would be my re-entry signal. And let's say we want to use a different pitchfork for targets, and just to confirm entry re-entries, that's fine. So this is the other point is on the anchors on the Bitfinex low, August 8th, something like that, August 20th. And this looks really clean for being an imaginary line. Multiple hits here tells me it's real. You're looking at a target of somewhere up here, 1600. This is tough because it could just go higher and bull you out, basically, because we haven't really tested this diag ever, except here. But this is, whatever. So it's really tough to say, do I want to sell? I would compare this to this pitchfork. It's got to be close. It certainly looks close. The other thing you got to think about is which exchange are you on? Are you on Bitfinex? Are you on Bitstamp? Are you on GDAX? So let's take a look at those prices. So this is on Brave New Coin. It's just trading pairs. Somehow JPY is still leading. I talked about this in the article last week. I think most of the JPY volume is wash trading, not real, based on zero fee exchanges. So I kind of just ignore it. But if we go to USD, you can see the volume is quite high, just historically, by itself. If we look at prices, Bitfinex GDAX leading the way here, no surprise. Stamp pulling up as well. Stamp catching up to the GDAX premium, which was probably pushed by just insane on-ramping on Coinbase. Bitfinex continues to be over $100 above GDAX. Again, due to USD halting. No new information there. So if I'm looking at this profile of prices, BTCE, almost $200 below Finex, there's just such a range here to deal with. So if you're unleveraged, it's like a buy and hold situation and sell 10% every $100 or something like that until we get to the pitchfork target, which I believe this more than any other target I'll ever see, just because since the beginning of the trend, it's been there. We're certainly in the territory where reversals happen. We're in all-time high, which I haven't said this whole video yet, territory, which is insane. It's a great time for any sort of FUD to happen. Price is already overbought based on high time frames. Really a big misunderstanding for me is why and how Finex, the price can keep rising so much, other than people selling other cryptocurrency on Finex for USD and then buying Bitcoin. This is a chart of longs and shorts, Finex, on these time points. And you can see longs dropped pretty significantly. Shorts not so much. Shorts currently sitting at 17K, longs at 11. Swap fees are high, I think. I don't really understand swap fees very much, but this just, I don't understand. It doesn't look like this at the end of a bull run, definitely. It looks like this at the beginning of a bull run. That's why it's so weird to me. You'd expect longs to be super long in a bull run. You'd expect shorts not to be, to be short squeezed out, basically. Why are these shorts still open? That's my question. My hypothesis was that people just didn't trust their Bitcoin on the exchange. They took it off. They kept shorts open because they're expecting USD to resume, or at which point there'd be an arbitrage opportunity. Prices on the other exchanges would go up. prices on Bitfinex would go down. They'd meet an equilibrium. See if that happens. So again, really at this point, the analysis is largely over. The targets are there. They've been there for a long time, for years. In this case, the fib extensions have been there for years. So this is just fib extensions and pivots, which have been there since January. This is inverted head and shoulders, which has been there building for years. This is a cup and handle, which has been building for years, which may not really be there. So there's really not much to say. The more important part is which exchange are you on? You know, how are you going to deal with thin order book on Bitstamp, for instance? This is the yearly pivot on Coinbase, which is up at 1831. And we've had a clean break of the R2. You may expect some test of 1400, but it sure looks like it's going to reach for that R3. My biggest problem any rally is always keeping stops way too tight and not letting the stuff just run. So on one broker, I have a bunch of bids here to catch some knives, not in anything at the moment. Looking and waiting for the 30-minute, but I'm still running scared on leverage because when the drop happens, it's going to be a $200-300 drop, and maybe you just chalk that up to risk and losing that. But I try to avoid that situation whenever possible. And jumping around back to Bitfinex, the yearly pivot again, 18 something, clearly reaching for it. We've tested the yearly pivot here several times. Yeah, it's overbought, but these aren't normal conditions. Things are going to keep going up indefinitely until something happens. Usually that's a parabolic blow-off candle. So things you want to look for, looking at volume alone, you know, you're looking for, I'd really like to see this kind of volume. We haven't had it. You know, each spike up has had less and less volume. So that alone just says there's growing bear div based on volumes, but RSI is fine on the daily anyway. But this is the kind of thing you're looking for. Again, large rejection wick. This wick was bigger than the candle body here with the day that the Alta volume was there. That just says buyers are exhausted. You might also see this pattern where just like wick, 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 and then nothing, even though at the time this kind of looked like a flag. But again, look at this volume. And right now, volume is nothing. Absolutely nothing. Now this is Bitfinex. Okay, fine. I get it. Let's go to Coinbase. Volume is relatively high based on the past few days, but this looks like an anomaly. I don't know what that's about. If you ever want to split off volume so you can manipulate it more, you can just go to the drop down and go to unmerge up. Unmerge up. Okay, and then to put it back, you just merge down. So again, volume here, not that impressive. So we're going up and up and up on really not much volume. That just says there's a lot of buyers to me. There's a lot of new money. Yeah, I'm rambling at this point, so I'm going to end it here, but let me know what you guys think. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, hit me up on Twitter and Telegram, and happy trading.